Hey everybody, Steve Bergen here. We all know as teachers that reviewing is a good thing and it gives you a chance to solidify what you've already learned. So let me see how many of these review questions I can knock off for you in a short format. Name each of the modules of Google Drive and state one interesting, unique feature about each one. So we happen to be in a word processing document, and one unique feature of word processing is that you can have tabs in the rulers, so left, center, and right tab. If I switch to a presentation, a unique feature about a presentation is that you can insert a YouTube video into a presentation, and that's a great and unique feature called insert and then video, and you can insert a YouTube video in a presentation. Okay, what else? In a spreadsheet, a unique feature is that it involves formulas. In a Google Drive drawing, a unique feature is that it is object oriented and you're drawing pictures, but you're not drawing them bitmapped. In a form, a unique feature is that it produces a spreadsheet from the survey questions. Okay, I think that's it for question number one. We'll get rid of it. What are the steps for sharing a file in Google Drive? What are 3 different privilege levels you can give each user? The steps for sharing is you go to the upper right, you choose share. You can change the privilege. You can add anybody in here. So I will put down the Larry Bird doll, and I can give that person 3 different privileges. One is can edit, one is can view, and one is can comment. So edit means the person is almost an owner but not quite. There can only be one owner. Edit means you can make changes on it. View means you can see it, but you can't make changes. And comment means that you can, in the upper right, put comments on it in the modules that have comments. Okay, let's get rid of that. And I think we've done question number 2. Okay. Hold on a second. I got to get my document back. Question number 2. Okay, how can you share a Google Drive document with a large number of users using a group of emails? The answer is by having a group of your contacts. So when you go to share, instead of typing in the name of one, you type something in like your actors, and now you have a whole bunch of your contacts who have been put in that one group. Okay, we're done with that one. Question number 3. What are the steps? Sorry for the New York City background noise. What are the steps to making a Google Drive file be public to anyone with the link? And how does tinyurl.com work to help us with this? What's the disadvantage? So the method of doing that is going up to sharing and changing this to say anyone with the link, and that's half of it. But then you have to get the link, and here's the link, and what you do with that is you copy and paste that into tinyurl, so you could call it Steve34 or Jane35, and then you have it. What's the disadvantage of it is that you don't know who's doing what. Everything is anonymous. You have no record of Jane doing this and Mary doing this and Alice doing this, because everybody who logs in is just using anonymous. What does it mean to be object-oriented versus bitmapped in terms of drawing? What it means is that you can move the whole object by touching a piece of it. That's what object-oriented means. That you can pick up the whole thing, whether it's an arrow or a word, and move it. Bitmapped means that you can take and edit or modify or erase a piece of it. So if I drew a capital S and it was object oriented, I can easily move it or alter the shape by stretching it, but I could not erase a part of the S. If I have a bitmapped one, then I can erase a portion of the S, and if I had to move it, I had to move it using the select tool. Google Drawing is object-oriented. Object-oriented for Google Drawing. If I go to New Google Drawing, and I draw something here.
Jess, it's okay. Don't you think that somewhere out there...
Okay, too many noises in New York City. But if I went and I draw something here, and I'm using stick figures like this, I can't erase a portion of it. Because I can't erase a portion of it, it is object-oriented. I can move it. I could take this, and I could take this one and pick it up, and I can move it, and I can stretch it, because those are the things you can easily do with an object-oriented environment. Okay, enough of that. Back to the next question. What's the formula in Google Drive, GD Spreadsheet, to add up the cells in a range such as D2 to D9? The answer is equal sum. Equal sum lets you add up. So if I have D2 through D9, and I've got some numbers here, whoops, some of these are numbers, some are not, who cares? And this one is in D9. All formulas begin with equal, then sum, then parenthesis, and then you describe the range by typing or by grabbing, and now you've got yourself a formula. Okay, let's get rid of that. What's the rationale for you having your students use names that are standard? Is it makes life easier for you as the teacher. It makes much easier if you say to students, the name that you're going to be using is Lesson 5, Jane Doe, September 12th. It's easier when those documents get shared with you. It's easier when the student is looking for his or her work. Okay, we've done through 7 questions. Okay, what's the feature called under Tools that lets you instantly look up information or pictures on the web to pull into a GD file? So it's under Tools, and you want to look up information on the web to pull it into a Google. So you want to get information or pictures. So this is a unique feature, but it's in several modules. If you go to Tools, the unique feature under Tools that lets you look up is called Research. So I go to Research, I type in Bob Dylan, and instantly underneath, right, it finds, because it's on the web, it finds pictures and information. Pictures and information, and you have the ability to deal with citations, and you have the ability to copy and paste. So you could take this information and you can copy and paste. You can insert by clicking insert. It will put footnotes, as you see here with the 1, and there's the answer for number 8. Number 9 is similar. How do you change the citation style from MLA to APA to Chicago? The answer is, if you go, you look at the very top, and it says use the citation format, you can pull down in the triangle and you can change the format. Okay, we've done number 9. How do you convert a Microsoft Word file into a Google Drive file? The answer is, when you go to File and you go to New, whoops, that's not going to do it for me, sorry. I'm going to close this up. I'm going to click on the button to the right of Create where it says Upload. I'm going to upload file. I'm going to grab the file, whatever it is, a sample PowerPoint, and then when I open it, it's going to say, do you want to convert it or not? So this check mark means I want to convert it or I don't want to convert it. That's the important one that you want to use. This check mark just means, do you want me to ask each time? And I generally do. Okay? So there is the answer for that one. Okay, let me get back to my review questions. Not bad. We've gone 9 minutes and we've gotten through 10 questions. How do you convert a Google Drive file into a Microsoft file? We're up to number 11. you go to File, and you choose Download As, and that's how you convert it to a Microsoft file. Demonstrate how to put one picture and one quote into a Google Drive using the research tool, creating 2 footnotes, and using a certain citation style. Okay, so I'll come over here and I will insert a image. Well, no, they wanted me to do this and to use footnotes, so I'm not going to go insert image. I'm tricking you. I'm going to go Tools, Research. I'm going to come over here and I am going to say Red Sox, and I'm going to get a picture, and then when I insert that picture, whoops, I should have scrolled down a little bit. When I drag the picture and insert it and bring it over, then it puts a footnote. You see that little baby 1 right there? It will put it in the footer. Okay, so it also wants a quote. So I will change this to Red Sox quotes. And here's a quote, and I'll click on this cell, and then I'll choose Insert. And now it puts the quote in, and it puts a footnote, right? I hope you can see it. Puts a footnote of 2 in right here on this quote from Jay Carney. And we've already dealt with in this video, right, how we can change it to whatever style we want. So I think that I've done number 12. Number 13 says how to explain how to use Google Drive to find pictures that are copyright free. So the answer is on the right hand side under Research. You can close it up with the Xbox. You can go to Research again, and you have the ability to choose filter images not filtered by license, but you can go to the section called Free to Use, and the Free to Use means that it's part of the Creative Commons or it's been marked as copyright free. Okay, we've done number 13, and we're doing not bad on time at 13 minutes. What's the preferred technique of sharing a large group of files with several contacts? The answer is using a group name. A group name like I've shown you called actors, but yours is going to be called students or math class or English class. How many owners can a document have? Is it possible to make someone else the owner? Yes, it's possible to make someone else the owner, but a document can only have one owner. If I go to share and it says owner, and I am the owner right now, I can in fact tag somebody else to be the owner. Okay, so if I go to change, it's not there. There is a setting here. I've got to find it, and that means if I want to make him the owner, what happens is I went to the Larry Bird doll, and the Larry Bird doll is about to become the owner, and then when I save changes, Larry Bird doll will get a confirmation saying that you're now the owner of the document. So I tagged Larry Bird as the owner, and so yes, it's possible to make someone the owner, but you have to, but you can only have one owner. Only have one owner. Number 16 says, demonstrate how the magic spot fill down technique and explain why sometimes we highlight one cell and other times we highlight 2 cells. Okay, how does the magic spot work on a spreadsheet, and why 1 cell and why 2 cells? So let's go to a spreadsheet. And so if I take the number 33 and I want to fill it down, I'll type in 33, I'll click and go to the right, bottom right, and I'll get that rectangle, and I'll click and I'll drag it down, and I'll get a bunch of 33s. So in that example, I had to light up the 33 just once, go to the bottom right, and click and drag. But if I need a pattern, like 33 followed by 35, now I have to highlight both of them. And when they're both lit up, then I go to the bottom right and I've lit up both of them, push return or enter, and now when I click and drag down, it replicates the pattern. So it's when there are two things, whatever those two things are, 1 and 10, and it's going up by 9, that you then push return or enter, you highlight both and you pull it down, and you get the pattern of going up by 9s. Okay, not bad. We've done number 16. How do you make numbers look like currency? Okay, we will go back to putting down a spreadsheet and having a bunch of numbers and highlight the numbers first, always highlight, and then click on the dollar sign, and now they look like currency. If you don't want them to have those decimals, you can change it to, say, you can change it to the number of decimals, but then you lose the currency. Is it possible to have the currency and with no decimals? Yes, it is, because there's the format, and that's the way you would do that. Okay, let's go back to our questions. We're at 16 minutes. I'm going to stop at 20 minutes and see how far we get. So we got through number 17. Number 18, what formula do we use to calculate percent increase? For example, if you have a number in cell E3 and you type, let's see the rest of that question. You type into a E4 for a formula to calculate 9% increase, what would you actually type? So I will make a spreadsheet. I will type a number in. I will make it bigger. I will type $300. Oops, I think he wanted it in E3, not that it's important. In E4, I'm going to type equals E3 times 1.09. Let me make that bigger for your eyes. And the formula in there again is equal E3 times 1.09. Highlight currency and maybe format looking like that. All right, and just while we're here, view all formulas and you can actually see the formula. Okay, that's going to solve another problem for us. Okay, let's get rid of the research and let's get rid of this question. And now we're up to 19. And we did number 18. Great, so that's that one there. Number 19. What are the names of two ways text and word processing can interact with a graphic? Right, so the two ways are called text wrap or inline. Demonstrate an example in a Google Drive word processing document. So a word processing document looks like this, and I'll just call it demo, and I'll put a whole bunch of text in, and I will insert a graphic quickly, and you can see as a review the way that graphic comes in. So I will go insert image by URL. Whoops. Search is better for this. Right, I will go Larry Bird doll, and sometimes I'm lucky and I get my own doll that is posted. I don't see it there. Too bad. Too bad it's not there. I'll click that flower instead. I'll select it. Okay, I'll resize it, otherwise this won't be a good example. So inline means that as I move the cursor around, as I click in front of it, as I type words above it, everything moves down. Inline means it moves down. It's in line with the rest of the document. So I'm pressing return or enter and it's moving down. That's what inline is. But if you change it to be wrap text format, now it's not inline, and now text can wrap around it. And now if I press return a few times, it does move. You can notice you can change the margins, but it's a different format than being inline. If I change it back to being inline, it's going to be like that. And now when I click and I push down, it moves down. When it's inline and you pick it up and drop it, and you drop it in the middle of a paragraph, it does this nasty thing of making it not be visually attractive. But as soon as I make it wrap text, now it's more attractive because it's making the paragraph read like a paragraph. Okay, we hit 21 minutes, and I said I was going to stop at 20, so I'm going to stop at 20 questions. How do we create separate spreadsheets in one Google Drive spreadsheet? How do you name or rename each one? How do we create separate worksheets? This will be the last one we will do for now. New spreadsheet, and I will just call this my first. And the bottom, it says sheet 1. This is where we would choose rename. This is where I would say my first spreadsheet. Then you click the plus sign and you make a new worksheet. And on the new worksheet, you have whatever you have with numbers and stuff. Rename is a feature under the triangle. Rename, and then you can call it second, whatever you want. And anytime you want, you can rename it. You can also move the two around so your worksheets can have an order that you want. Okay, I'm out of breath, and I'm sorry if I've kept you so long, but we've done 20 questions, and I hope this has been some value. It's taken us 22 or 23 minutes, but we will have another video that will answer the other questions. Okay, it is time to go. Bye.